Now I go back and I said @find by. When I say @find by, so if you can see here, I have imported this find by. So find by is again another class, or it has another implementation or annotation in the page factory. So find by is used to identify your locator. Let's say I said I wanted to identify with the name equals name. If you can see, we go back to our page. So if you can see this edit box, its value is name equals name. So that's why I'm going to pass here name. I wanted to identify by the locator name, and its value is name. And I wanted to assign that to the private web element, and its name is username. So I wanted to find element by name equals name and assign to the web element username. I'll explain this line again. So previously, if you can see, I wanted to identify this, how I write my code, driver dot find element by dot name and bracket, it is a name. And then we were assigned this value to some of the web element, let's say web element username. Now, the value that driver dot find element is converted into this find by, and your name and name is this value, and whatever you assign that value, whenever you identify any of the web element, you assign that find element returns always a single web element. So what we did, once it is written, we just hold that into a username. Same way we do here as well. So this line always you write, I know, but this is what a find by is, a page factory based implementation which we want to do here. Now here another oops concept we are going to implement, that is called a encapsulation. Encapsulation says private data member can be accessed outside of a class with the public getters or setters. So now I wanted to return this public, I wanted to return this web element. So I said web element get user name. I said get username. I wanted to return this username. So what I will do, I will return my user name. So we'll remove this line to avoid confusion. Okay. So this is my one web element all encapsulation implementation. I find by that name equals name, the value, and I assign that name values to the web element username. Now, if it is a private data member, if you wanted to access outside, you need a public getters, that is get user. Definitely what we said, our diagram said, first we need to identify the locators and then perform the action on those locators. Definitely action class required those locator outside of this locator class. So that's why we need to return this to action class. Though this is a private, that's why we write this getters to return this username. Okay. Now, same way I can identify my other web elements. I said my password, second one is my password, and I return here a password, and I said get password. So if you can go back to your application and identify the element of this password, see what it says. It has a name equals password here. Now I wanted to identify the next, that is confirm password. I said name equals a confirm password here. So I simply write again, I simply write this, okay, and I write this, and I pass this a password, and here I write confirm password. Here I said my confirm password, and here I simply said my confirm password. So I identify these three elements. One, that is my username. Another, that is my password. Third, that is my confirm password. See how easy it is. Once you identify one element and write a code, it is not more than a 1 minute of job to identify or add another elements using this page object model framework in the locator file. So I have added username, password, confirm password. Now I need this submit button. So let's go back and identify this submit button. So this submit button says a name equals, for example, insert. So I'll add this value as well. And I said I wanted to write here the name value is insert. I wanted to write here submit button. Okay, and simple. And anyone required, they can just ask this submit button from here. So this is my 4 locators that I have added. Once these 4 locators are added, still our work is not yet finished. Because when you worked on the page factory based implementation, that is a find by, you need to initialize this page factory always. Once you write this page factory based initialization, you definitely need to initialize. Otherwise, still if you can see the get username, it will return you the null value. So to initialize that, always we can initialize only once. So I am going to initialize within my constructor. So I will write here page factory dot init elements, and I simply said what I wanted to init elements. I wanted to init element, that is driver and this page. So current driver, and I wanted to initialize for this page. So whatever value, whatever the elements I am trying to use using a find by, I can initialize those elements using the page factory. So those elements will be identified with this, that means this driver, this current class driver. So this line is mandatory when you worked on the page factory based implementation. As of now, we have added my locator file. Now we jump on our action file. So I go back to the action. I said my whole locator file is all built up. Now go back to the action. So my implementation says first job is locator, which is done. Now go back and pull your actions. So action on top of your locators. So again, a one common, that is Webdriver. That is your Webdriver. Driver equals null, and your constructor, that is public registration page action, and your constructor says Webdriver driver, and use just same code. I'm not creating any new code for here. So the driver. So you can see I just initialize my driver again, and for this action class, now I said Webdriver equals driver. I wanted to perform action on all those locators now. So what is my first element? That is first element is my username. First element is my username. I wanted to perform the action on my username. So I will write public void enter username. Okay, you can create these common functions, or one method can be perform all those actions, but I just wanted to show you more systematic way. That's why it is more I mean, you can see the more elements here. Okay, so enter username. So what I wanted to enter, I wanted to enter some of the string, that is user value. I said user value. So enter username. Now to enter the username, I need the locator file. Where is that username? So username is this. I need this username. So I go back to the action. Either I can create a registration page locator, that is register underscore page locator is what I can create. Its instance equals new registration page locator, and you can see this time I am passing a driver as an input parameter, because there is a constructor with a single input parameter, that is driver. So I pass that driver so that this driver is assigned to the current of this class driver, and then it will perform some other action. So I'm traversing driver from action to locator. I said, okay, I created this. Now I said if register page locator dot get username. I have get username is a method here. If you can see, get username is what? A getters for username. So I say get username is not equals null. If it is not equals null, then only I'll perform some action. If it is not equals null, then only I'll perform some action. I said if it is not null, what I wanted to do, I wanted to enter the username. But to enter some of the value on the edit box, we had already written common functions, that is send input in the web edit class. Now I don't want to write any of the code here. So what I'll do, I'll write here web edit, that is my class dot send input, and to send input I need this text box. So text box is my username. So I can either pass this value and here a user val, or I can do another thing that is a user element, and I can assign these values to user element. So there are two different things that I can do. One is either I can pass this value directly here, or I can assign that value to the web element and input parameter is still web element. So I can use that here. I'll show you the second approach in the next method. Okay. So let's say I'm passing this value here. I said send input this and this. So what happened? It will go to your send input. It will take that and it will go to your is clickable. If you can see, it is going to is clickable, and is clickable is going to your is displayed. See how these common functions are utilized for a single action. So you check your is displayed, you check your is enabled, is clickable, you check and input or send input to your web edit text box, and then you do your action here. Okay, this is one action which we can see here. I created the locator file. I get this username. I'll check whether it is not returning null. Then I perform that action. And I told you why it is we need to create that as a static. There is very clear intention. If anyone can read this code, anyone can understand I am doing operation on the edit text box because of this class name. I am doing operation on the edit text box because of this class name. It's very clear so that everyone understand, okay, I'm doing operation and this is my element. Now the second way I can show you. So other thing that you can do is I can create my registration page locator, that is register page locator, okay, and it was null, for example. And then I said that registration page locator equals new, and I just simply pass here a driver. So I created, this is a global one. So now if I wanted to do operation on enter password, so I'll create another method, public void enter password, and I said, and for the enter password I need a password val, and this time no need to create this line. This time there is not required this line. So what we will do, we will do web element password element equals registered page, okay, a registered page locator dot get password. It will return you the element, and then I can check whether if this password element is not equals